Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hello there. Yes, I be your host, Lynn Cullen. I'm operating a little bit with one hand tied behind my back. As I mentioned, we're moving the paper, and all of us are moving this week at the end of the week, and everything's coming apart at the seams, and I am not able to get into my Lynn at PGH City Paper email account. So if you want to get to me during the show, please do so by going to Cullen Show, one word, at yahoo.com. That I can get up and I can see your emails there. Cullen Show at yahoo.com, because I don't have access to the other. It is a Tuesday. My sister Susan is on the phone, as far as I know. Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, Susan.
Hello. I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, just sort of things are starting to melt down here as I anticipated. So I just came upon a story that chilled my blood. Can I share it?
Oh, sure. I need my blood chilled. I live in Chicago.
Okay. This has to do with a Facebook page of both our Defense Department, the 18th Airborne Corps, the 10th Mountain Division. All of these American military Facebook accounts yesterday, which was, I believe, the 75th anniversary of the Battle
of the Bulge, yeah.
Yeah. They posted a picture of this glowering commander who fought at the Battle of the Bulge. And in the post accompanying the picture, they said that it was the greatest battle in American history. And then it said about this glowering commander, the fate of his beloved nation rested on his ability to lead his men. It's a Nazi war criminal.
Oh, my God. They didn't know who they were putting up.
They know who they were putting up, and they continue to then talk about him. His name was Joachim Peiper, an infamous German commander who ordered the massacre of 84 American prisoners of war during the Battle of the Bulge.
Why would they put him up?
It is a glamorized, colorized photo. They also have the narrative depicting him writing in his diary. You tell me.
I don't understand.
Well, it says here the backlash was swift. Critics started posting, why are you glorifying a Nazi war criminal? Called it a fanboy piece. Vile, disturbing. This is something I just found on the Washington Post. Shortly after a public affairs officer for the Army criticized the post, the photos disappeared. I don't know. Nobody. Here's somebody say, I'm dumbfounded. What is an Army spokesman?
It was posted to their page by them?
No,
or
they
by someone,
posted
or they were
it. The Army posted it. It was their pages. Shared on the Defense Department's Facebook page, too. An Army spokesman did not immediately return a request for comment. Pentagon officials also did not return messages about this late Monday, so we don't know. the 18th Airborne Corps, which I believe is where this began, based in Fort Bragg, did respond.
Some anti-Semite put it up.
Did respond to some critics in Facebook, and said, "Listen, this is what the Army wrote from Fort Bragg when they saw the critics." Sometimes in movies, the movie will create a sense of tension by introducing a bad guy. It's a technique of effective storytelling.
Yeah, but they weren't calling him a bad guy. They were calling him a good guy.
They weren't calling him anything, but they were saying, they were talking about him like he was a good guy.
Right.
This guy was so horrible. He massacred American prisoners of war. And then the Air Corps, our Air Corps replied, they also have this. Speaking of the Nazi, he had a good first day. Not really his fault that the initial push failed in the north and center, as we'll see tomorrow. So they're like doing this, serialized narrative of the battle, but doing it from his fucking point of view? And in a now deleted tweet, the unit, this is America's unit, the Fort Bragg unit, called the Nazi a terrible person, but an effective leader. And that he rocketed through the ranks during the war, racking up medals and promotions.
Well, sure, because he was brutal and killed anybody in, just what a Nazi would want, not someone an American would glorify. What the hell?
And then the 18th Airborne assured the people that were freaking out, look, this is just the first day of a continuing series. Closer inspection shows that the photo is colorized by a guy named Tobias Kurtz, who is a known Nazi fanboy.
They can say whatever they want. They got someone who's a Nazi fanboy to write this, and they're all flashing. You saw the thing at the Army-Navy game with them flashing,
Yes.
White nationalist symbols. People need to understand anti-Semitism is out, and
Susan,
you're as strong as ever.
Susan, you're in and out a little bit. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I'm
okay.
On my landline.
And then the Washington Post goes into talking about all of these white nationalists that are in our armed forces. A doctor serving in the Army Reserve became the subject of an internal investigation when it was revealed he was connected to the white nationalist hate group Identify Europa. But what...
Don't ask me to explain. This is the country we live in right now. This is where we are.
Well,
and they probably don't see anything wrong with it.
Well, the guy on the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge, our military posts this glamorized. Yeah, he looks like an actor almost.
That handsome guy didn't read that. Is that what that was? That handsome young man?
Susan.
No.
Yes. And there it is, posted on the U.S. Department of Defense Facebook page. A Nazi fucking American killing war criminal on the 75th anniversary of Battle of the Bulge and talking of him in a way that he sounds heroic. Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, oh, my God. Vile and disturbing. Army unit marks Battle of the Bulge with picture of Nazi. Yeah, he looks like, some Hollywood actor.
Yeah. He's handsome, this Nazi murderer. He's a handsome white Aryan male, a great commander, a leader of men. Dear God.
And clearly wearing a Nazi uniform.
I know.
Why they would put that up with,
You can see the insignia. It's a Nazi. On the Department of Defense's Facebook page in a positive light.
Well, we're rewriting history to suit the white nationalists who happen to be in power at the moment.
They're in the White House.
They're in the White House. A couple of
Okay, so guys, if these marches scheduled for tonight are supposed to be an indication of how upset we Americans are by what's happening in this country, I would like to know why I have seen nothing about these marches in the papers I read today, except one column.
I saw an article in the Washington Post. That's the only way I knew.
The only way I know is Michelle Goldberg, Susan, does a piece in the New York Times saying on Tuesday, that's today, guys, March for Impeachment.
It's at 5:30 wherever you are. There's one in every state. But when I checked the Chicago thing, they sort of said, yeah, it's supposed to be here, but no one really knows about it, and blah, 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 blah.
Well, then, okay, get ready.
What I'm telling people, and here's what we can all do. If you can't find them, just go outside at 5:30. Make yourself a sign.
No, but you got to go someplace public. You got to be public. And I'm telling people here, it's in front of the city-county building on Grant Street at 5:30. There's also one, I believe, in Mount Lebanon. But it would be better if everybody showed at the same point to make a big crowd. God damn it. How are we supposed to prevail if we won't even get off our asses, get out of our houses on a cold, rainy, snowy night?
Well, for one thing, we need to stop just accepting the Republican narrative that no one's behind this. In fact, all of the polls say that there are more people in favor of impeachment than not. In fact, his numbers are going down and down. In fact, everything that they're saying is not true. The American people are not happy. They do want him out. Republicans are not happy. They do want him out. So all we have to do is stop listening to their lies and accepting their narrative. Get off your asses. Get outside tonight at 5:30. I don't care where you go. Just get outside with a sign, hold up a torch, and say, I'm here, and start screaming loud and proud and make a march wherever you are. Pour into the streets.
Yeah, but it's easier to see us if we're collective. Be in front of the city-county building.
If you don't know where to go, just go.
I mean, I tell you, I have no friend who has contacted me and said, are you going tonight? That tells me something, and it's not good. I don't know what your problem. I don't want to. Let me tell you, I don't want to go. I'd like to stay home and cuddle with my dog.
I don't want to go to downtown Chicago.
No, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going.
I will be there. And damn it.
I actually put something up on Facebook today, showing this, saying no excuse, up, out, go.
Goldberg in this piece points out something so true. She points out that whenever media talk about the average American voter, they are talking about a white, rural, or Midwestern, suburban person, right? A Republican. Yeah. That's what they always do. And in fact, Dan Rather said something, because he's been noticing it too, and it's driven him insane. And he put it well. Oh, fuck. Nothing works in here. Okay, I'm sorry. I am so upset. I can't even see straight. Here's what Dan Rather says. A friendly reminder to some of my colleagues in the press. When doing stories on average voters, let's try to have that phrase accurately represent the increasingly urban and diverse reality of the America of 2019, and not only people you find in county diners. And somebody else says, no, every time they talk about an average voter, it's some MAGA hat wearing or, former KKK member or a blonde woman in a Confederate flag bikini. That is who media see as the average voter. Tell me if you've ever seen a story on the average voter that shows anybody other than a white person. Huh? Never.
No, and I mean, when the congresswoman from Detroit who announced that she was going to vote for impeachment, and if it kills her career, it does, but it's the right thing to do.
Shotkin.
So
or
I
Slotkin.
was watching the news reports on that, and they interviewed one man, described exactly as you just did, who, surprise, surprise, was not going to vote for her.
Right. That's all they
picked
do.
One person.
Right. That's all they do. And so, even though the majority, as Susan said, of Americans want this president impeached, the news treats those of us who want him impeached as some kind of a elitist fringe, even though we constitute more people in this country. Goldberg goes on to say, tonight, across America, is an opportunity for the majority of Americans, the anti-Trump America, to be seen, because the media won't show us.
Yeah, we mustn't be the silent majority any longer.
We have to be visible. And so all of the people who have said, geez, what's wrong with us? Look at Hong Kong, look at Chile, look at, everywhere. Sudan, Venezuela, Libya. I mean, everywhere you look, people are in the streets, but not here.
Yeah, well, baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
And
now,
we've got Christmas shopping to do. There are certain things that are more important, really.
She says this, think back about how bleak the day Trump's inauguration was, and then remember the exhilaration of the next day when millions of us showed up and marched in Washington, D.C., the largest single day of protest in American history. And obviously, that ain't happening tonight. But she points out, this is true, local television news is still where many people get their news. Local television news damn well better cover the city-county building tonight, and I would imagine will. And that message that can be put out on news is how many of us there are, not the MAGA hat wearing zombies that are forever getting coverage. If you want the voice of the anti-Trump America to be heard, then get off your ass and get to the city-county building tonight. No excuses. None. I'm sorry. I'm losing it.
Well, I feel the same way. I mean, I was I was rabble-rousing at 7 o'clock this morning.
Kristen says, I saw on my local paper's Facebook page about the protest in our area. Of course, there were several posts then by people who said they were going to the rally to take pictures of the protesters and smear them all over social media.
Yeah, because they're bully thugs. So what? We're going to be afraid? No.
No.
I mean, right? Another story in the paper today is how the guy that sent the reporter with epilepsy a gift to cause a
epileptic seizure. Yeah.
An epileptic seizure, and in fact did, and in fact the guy would have died if his wife didn't found him, has been charged with assault and is going to trial.
Good.
And the Epilepsy Foundation, whose own pages have been, these people are just awful. I mean, they sent them to the Epilepsy Foundation, trying to, page so that people that went there would get, what is with these people? And then they go, oh, maybe we'll kill one today. Let's cause a seizure. Well, they're going after all of them. So, go ahead. You do what you're going to do. But we are a nation of laws, and we're going to come back and get you. You aren't going to get us. We're going to get you.
Susan talked about Congresswoman Elisa Slotkin, who represents a district, I guess, northwest of Detroit, which has been reliably Republican. However, in 2018, right? Yeah.
Right, in outrage.
She was elected, a Democrat, elected in that district. And so she is a first-term Democratic congressperson who really wrestled with what to do. She, as Susan said, showed up at her town hall.
And she's brave. She announces this and then has a town hall.
And so the crazies were there, shouting her down throughout. They were screaming at her, CIA hack. This is a woman who, before she ran for elective office, was a CIA analyst and worked in Afghanistan as well. And those are generally people that you think Republicans look up to for their service. But no longer. To work for the CIA now in this Republican Party that exists, the Trump Republican Party, is to be part of the deep state, is to be somehow a traitor.
These folks aren't Republicans. I don't think we should call them Republicans.
Well, no, they've got to, because the party's got to go down. They can't slide away from this. This is what the Republican Party has become. This is them.
Yeah, this is what it's become. But it lends them a cover of respectability that they do not deserve.
Well, listen.
These people are actively trying to overthrow our government, and I think we ought to just talk about it in those terms.
Let's talk about a Republican, the Republicans that used to exist and still are alive in part. One is 96 years old. He wrote a piece in today's New York Times. His name is William Webster, and as he said, he had the privilege of being the only American in history to serve as both the director of the FBI and the director of the CIA. And this 96-year-old Republican is frightened. And he says, he actually speaks about the fact that right now, in this country he loves and has served, there is a dire threat. Dire threat. And it's the Republican Party. Dire threat to the rule of law in the country I love, he says. The integrity of the institutions that protect our civil order is under assault. And it's under assault from people whose job it should be to protect them. He's talking about the President of the United States and all of those who support him.
Yeah, and as we speak, McConnell is accusing the Democrats of a slapdash impeachment inquiry. He who says that they're going to have the trial in 2 weeks, maybe not call any witnesses, and he's already made up his mind.
And he's coordinating with the White House, meaning
with the White House
as a juror, he's a juror.
Right.
That he's coordinating with the defendant.
I mean, they are all committing impeachable offenses.
That's right.
Every single one of them.
And Webster in this actually goes after the Attorney General as well. And Giuliani, who he called his one-time friend. The country can ill afford to have a chief law enforcement officer, that's the Attorney General, dispute the Justice Department's own independent Inspector General's report and claim that an FBI investigation was based on a bogus narrative. I mean, this guy can't believe what he's seeing. He said, in my nearly 96 years, I have seen our country rise above extraordinary challenges. You can tell he's not sure we're going to do it this time.
And I know. Well, who can be sure? It's in the future.
Susan, I'm telling you, there's land up there in Canada.
I know. They don't want us.
I don't give a shit if they don't want us. Also looking at Scotland.
Yeah, well, it's going to be underwater.
Not all of it. You don't go on the coast.
Oh. Everybody put on their woolens and go outside tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Here's a little story that was in the paper today. You know, those tax credits, you're doing your taxes. You know, well, Trump's big signature achievement, his tax cut. The tax cut, in which he doubled the federal child tax credit. You know, it used to be you got $1,000 per kid, right?
Yeah.
He changed it to $2,000. Yay! All right. That sounded really good. Guess what?
Nobody gets it.
No. Only rich people get it.
Only rich people get it.
No, poor people. Let's just say this. People who need it most, people who struggle to feed those children, they don't get it. However, the credit is available to families earning as much as $400,000 a year. However, somebody, let's say a single working mom, struggling left and right, who manages to scrape together $15,000 a year to feed her 2 children and keep a roof over their house, she gets butkus. Actually, no, let me be honest. She doesn't. She gets an increase of $75 a year. What they did was they
tied it backwards to
They tied it backwards.
Income.
So if you're poor,
they did it exactly backwards. So instead of making it high at the low end and low at the high end, they did it the other way. Rich people get more, poor people get less. They tied it to income.
That's right.
So that doesn't make sense. The lower your income, the
more,
higher you should get.
Right.
But they did it as they tied it to income exactly wrong because they're idiots.
No, because they're cruel. Because they hate poor people.
Well, it's a character flaw, poverty.
Apparently. So here's what they say, because they've done now, researchers at Columbia University have crunched the numbers since the tax cut, and they say 35% of American children do not receive the $2,000 tax credit because their parents earn too little.
Too little. Right.
What kind of... Among those excluded from the full credit are half of Latinos, 53% of blacks, and 70% of children with single mothers. This is, again, this is the kind of thing that Republicans run on to be reelected. How wonderful they are. They always help those who need it least and kick people who are down.
But what's so perverse, Lynn, is that they've done this forever, and their supporters know it. They know that they aren't going to benefit from this, but somehow they believe that they're going to win the lottery. And then all of these rules for rich people will be for their benefit too.
Okay.
Because if they had all of that money, they'd want to keep it.
I want to remind people that I'm not looking at my usual mail. I'm looking at Cullen Show at Yahoo. Yeah. Bob wants to know if we saw the OK sign at the Army Navy. I didn't watch it, but yes, I saw it. Yes.
And the Army's having an investigation.
Yeah,
Investigate all you want. The Army is a white nationalist army at this point.
Well, they
need to address this.
Certainly have a lot of apparently white nationalists in their ranks, and the fact that Facebook story with that Nazi, if that doesn't become a big story, I'm going to scream. Heads need to roll about that.
Heads really need to roll. Stay tuned, it's going to get better, and they're going to quick rewrite at the end? No. Somebody was either fully supporting this or really asleep at the switch, and heads should roll. Either way.
Oh, man. Okay. I
mean, how many dead Americans with their faces down in the water? And
what?
this is what they put up?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The Battle of the Bulge from our point of view. Yes.
Yeah.
Not the Nazi point of view, which for some reason was how this unit at Fort Bragg decided it would tell the Battle of the Bulge story and even say that the Nazi murdering war criminal had a good first day and was a great leader. I will say it again. Anyone who is not scared, anyone who is in any way downplaying or pushing aside concerns about what's happening in this country right now and the danger we are in, the imminent danger, the dire situation, the right on the edge behavior. If you don't see it, then you're part of the problem.
Well, what's amazing to me is, so we know that this president now has, on average, put out 50 lies or misleading facts every single day, on average, every single day of his presidency.
He cannot tell the truth. He's incapable of it.
He cannot tell the truth.
He cannot. It's just one lie out after another.
He doesn't recognize it. And so, therefore, all of his followers now proclaim what's truth. I mean, as you watch this devolve, it's amazing. People actually, truth is relative. That's your truth. No, it's truth.
Do you remember, it wasn't too long ago, when Republicans were always calling our side relativists? Oh, that we didn't, yeah. And now they're saying truth
Right.
is relative?
Yes.
Okay. So
Who's
we
truth?
we have a caller. Want to let the caller in here if they're still there. Are they
Yeah,
there?
please, before I have a heart attack.
I know. Both Susan and I are flirting with bad blood pressure readings right now. Hello.
Good morning. Is this show as upbeat as yesterday's?
You know what? It's angrier than yesterday. Yesterday's was despair and grief, and today's is rage.
Well, just so you know, I went to the hardware store and they're sold out of razor blades. I don't know what
Well, that cheered me up.
but there was plenty of booze at the liquor store.
All right, well, that too. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Did I hear? I don't know if it was one of you or maybe it was a friend of mine that said that Canada really won't take people after 52 because
Yeah.
of the healthcare situation.
They don't want old people coming and using their health care. That's right. That's true.
Because I've got some really good contacts up there and places to live.
Okay, but I don't know how old you are, but I mean, I'm thinking, and others in my family are thinking, not about our generation, but about the younger ones in our family.
Well, that works out good for my daughter because she married a woman from Canada, so they can both get dual citizenship. So maybe that's something for them. Okay, well, the hell with me then.
Right. We fortunately are going to die soon.
That's right.
Those poor kids. Anyway, it seems like somebody keeps saying that the only thing to stop this son of a bitch is a recession. And as terrible as that sounds, maybe that's true.
Well,
I'm wondering if Brexit is gonna. I think there's gonna be fallout once that really happens. Don't you?
Brexit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the UK is having a foot race with us to the bottom. Who can go down first? And it looks like they might win. They might win.
But if they finally sever ties, which
Oh my God,
really soon.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah.
I mean, you don't want bad things to happen, but maybe we need to hit bottom first to finally wake up. And if that happens and the economy goes in the shitter the next few months, is that our way out? And is that an awful thing to think?
I don't know.
I don't think it's an awful. Anything that works, I'm for.
Anything that'll save us, right?
And
anything.
And and frankly, I felt guilty about being able to benefit from all of this crap that he has done to, I mean, I have stocks. They've gone way, 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 way up. I mean, anybody that has a few stocks has seen that. And I don't even want it. I'm happy to give it back.
And then some.
And then some.
Well,
I'd give all my treasure to get my country back if you want to know the truth.
Yeah. Oh, well. So anyway.
Patriot or something?
What?
Yeah, I mean, if I've learned one thing in the last few years, it's how much I love my country, how much I counted on that identity to make me feel safe.
Susan?
You like when it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah?
No, you just drop out every once in a while. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay. No, do I. All right.
Well, putting that out there, and I felt so proud years ago when I thought that with Obama that we climbed, we made a step forward, but boy, wow.
One step forward, two steps back.
And then, do either of you watch The Watchmen on HBO?
I am going to start because quite clearly that was I haven't done it. I will end up binge watching it over the holidays.
it's just so funny because, they talk about, this is not a spoiler, but basically, I think Richard Nixon gets 5 terms as president.
Oh yeah.
And they show the main characters, and I know them all. I mean, I can look at them, and they do a really good job. Like there's McLaughlin, and there's Kissinger, and there's all these major characters that we recognize from the early 70s. And I'm sitting there with my family members. Nobody knows who the hell any of these people are. And I can just look at them and say, I know who that is.
Yep.
And they do the really good job as to playing the role. But it is.
I happened, excuse me, upon it, mid-show, who knows what episode. And I was so taken by how beautifully it was shot, and I stopped and got sucked in, even though I didn't have a clue what was going on. And that's when I thought, oh boy, this is good. I'll have to binge watch it. The first season ended, last week or this week? And yeah.
It ended Sunday, but my wife and I didn't see it.
Okay.
But one thing we did do this weekend was we watched there was a movie that came out about 10 years ago. And because I didn't read the comic books of it, but watching the movie after seeing the first, maybe before you've watched the finale, watch the movie just because it gives you perspective on more of the characters. Because right now we're watching in a vacuum, watching the show, and not that it diminished it, but then watching the movie, oh, that's that character. Oh my God, that's character, because the movie takes place back in the 80s and the show takes place now. Mm-hmm. And watch. So anyway, just
okay.
Thought, that's all.
Okay. Hey, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Everybody have a good day.
Yes, you too.
Yeah. Cheer up. Go
Bye.
for a march around 5:30.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, thanks for the update on razor blades and liquor.
It reminds me of my favorite store in Door County, Wisconsin. That was a hardware liquor store.
A hardware liquor store.
And I would always look at my husband and say, let's go get a screwdriver. There's also a bicycle gun shop in Green Bay.
In Green Bay. I was sitting here trying to remember, what's that gun shop that also is something else? That's what it is. That's right.
It's a bicycle
on
gun
the north,
shop on
near
Mason Street,
near the old
way
Crolls.
on the east side.
Yeah, near the old Crolls on the east side, right? And I went by it once and thought, what the what it just flat out says, doesn't it?
Bicycle gun shop.
Or guns and bikes. I don't know.
We're a liquor store.
Yeah, right.
It's like, of course.
No. Who wouldn't think that was a good idea? Jeez.
Power tools and a bottle of vodka. Yeah.
Okay, so some relief. It's on my. Did you see the somebody was selling a holiday sweater?
What, the Santa Claus snorting cocaine?
Snorting
saying,
cocaine.
Let it snow, let it snow,
let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Right, and that got recalled.
That got Walmart in trouble. Yes,
that was Walmart selling that. Right, Santa doing lines of cocaine. But in the Washington Post today, and I'll have to find it on my phone because I don't have access to my page. Not the weather, you idiot.
No, the whole thing about awful Christmas sweaters?
Yes, I loved it. So it turns out that, Christmas sweaters, holiday sweaters, the ugly sweater thing, that's a relatively new thing. I mean, that didn't used to be what it was about. They said, the holiday sweater started with it'd be like grade school teachers, right? And,
right.
wearing these, your aunt who bakes 7,000 dozen cookies and stuff. And now it's become, because this is, America, and we don't do anything half-assed except things like infrastructure and taking care of the least of us and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to commercialism, we are over the top. And so now these sweaters, My God, have you seen some of they have these things like Santa Claus is this disgusting, dirty old man. The elves are all. There's ones with Santa Claus urinating in the snow, spelling, yellow snow, saying "Merry Christmas" in cursive, or pooping down a chimney, or leering out from the sweater, saying, "Hey, I got a big package for you." Yeah. The elves are, So I mean, the Washington Post say, from the looks of things, all of December is becoming a 31-day-long kegger. And Mrs. Claus should consider hiring a divorce attorney. You can't imagine. They're already doing the ones for next year. They're already working on them in Chinese sweat shops. Here's a woman who does these. She designed one of Jesus breakdancing. I don't know. What's happened to us? Susan, are you there?
I'm here. What's happened to us is the internet. I mean, really, because anybody's voice is as loud as anybody else's. And
it says, but here's what it is. Here's what it is, because you're right. Here's somebody who understands how our world works now. The edgier, the more controversial it is, the more attention it gets. So the higher it ranks when you go looking online for holiday sweaters. So controversial, tasteless, raunchy things are always going to rise to the top in our current capitalist, technological America. And that's that. We've got a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Thank God.
Hey, guys, it's Mike in D.C.
Hi, Mike.
I had a holiday party this weekend, and I went online 2 or 3 weeks ago to look for a Christmas sweater. I was like, I don't have anything to wear. Maybe I'll get a Christmas sweater. And I could not find one that was not
raunchy,
an ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah. Or that wasn't
I couldn't
tasteless.
No, I couldn't find any sweater, like a red sweater with, sparkly piping, or sweater with a nice Christmas tree on it. You couldn't. There was nothing but ugly Christmas sweaters.
Because it's a thing now.
I thought it was me. Maybe I waited too long.
Yeah, no, it's a thing.
No, you're just going to have to go for a simple V-neck red cashmere.
That's it.
Go for taste.
Yes.
What about ties? Because there are Christmas ties, too. I have a Christmas tie, but I didn't want to wear a tie. Are there only ugly Christmas ties now?
Probably. But the problem being not as many because no one wears a tie anymore.
That's true, too.
That's true. That's why I didn't wear it to the party.
Right.
So did other people have ugly sweaters or nice sweaters?
No. But several people, one person said to me like 2 hours before the party, "What do I wear?" Which annoyed me because who calls the host 2 hours before and asks for wearing instructions? So I said, "Didn't you get the invite? It's black tie only. See you soon."
You!
I am amazed at how people have no understanding of how a party works now. Somebody was an hour early.
An hour early?
No, an hour early.
Did they?
What did you do with them?
I said, "Hey, I got stuff to do. Here's a drink."
That was
and
actually an etiquette. That was an etiquette question that I read today. What is being on time rude? I have a friend that says come 15 minutes early, and the answer was, you don't go to a party early. That's when you're checking the food and finding your shoes and going to the bathroom right before someone comes. No.
Yep. And I think it's because people don't. She's never been a hostess because no hostess would do that to another hostess. She called 10 minutes before 6 and said, "I'm on my way, but I forgot your address." And I said, "Well, I'll give you the address, but it's an hour. It's at 7. She was like, "Oh, I'm really close." And I wanted to say, well, some good that invitation did.
Well,
right? She got the time wrong and didn't know the address. So I think it's because people don't throw parties now. They don't know to bring a hostess gift.
Having just been involved with a wedding, let me tell you that people don't pay attention to the invitations. I have on my iPad a picture of every single part of the invitation so that I could text a picture of the invitation back to the 4,000 people that asked me for all the information 3 times.
I was one of them.
Yes, you are.
Well,
Did
yeah,
you get a picture? Did you get a picture of it?
Yeah, I think I have a picture of an invitation somewhere on my phone.
Well,
that you
and
sent.
the other thing was that invitation said formal attire.
I know,
and
which was confusing.
That generated 6 million questions.
Well, as it
What's
should.
Formal attire?
Yeah.
Do I have to wear
a tux?
A tuxedo? And I said, no, that's black tie. Formal means take a shower and don't wear Bermudas.
Again, I think it's because someone never threw a wedding or someone never had a party, because you would not do that to somebody who did that to you. Right?
No,
I would never be
So-
an hour early.
So
I would
you're
never call and say, "What's your address?"
So are you
Because
going to give
I know
a?
what it's like an hour before a party.
So did you
I know
have
what
it?
it's like to throw a wedding.
So Mike, did you have a
Right.
good time at your party?
No.
Are you going to do it?
I'm doing it again.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you
Because-
doing it again next year?
Beg your pardon?
You're not doing it again next year.
No, probably not. I did it 2 years ago, and then I did it this year, and now I know why I didn't do it last year, because the memory of the thing. So I have a dog. He is very well behaved, but I keep him in the car, which is right outside my door. He has a sweater on. It's Christmas. He's in a car by himself. It was 50 degrees, and several guests forced me to let him come into the house halfway through the party. So for the rest of the party, I'm like, Kipper, no, down. Go to your mat. Hey, no. So my whole enjoying myself was about how to keep my dog acting like a good citizen.
I would have been,
I
you
should
know
have just
what?
said,
I would have been one of the guests to say, bring the dog in, because I would have rather spent time with the dog.
right. You wouldn't have been a good guest, right?
No,
Because a
I
good
wouldn't,
guest
because
doesn't put pressure on the host.
well, listen, I just prefer canine company to human company.
She would have
It's
been
not
looking
your
for someone
party.
to
Then you
talk
know
to.
what?
Ah!
You fucking throw a party and have it ramaged with a million dogs on furniture eating shit out of people's hands. This is my party. And in this party, you get a glass, you get a drink in a glass, not a can. And a dog isn't nipping at your heels or climbing on your lap. So if you want a party like that, you get a party. So again, I don't think people have ever thrown parties.
Ho, 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 be of good cheer, Mike. It 'tis the season. God.
I got that off my chest.
Yeah, I
'Cause
can-
can't tell any
you
of my
feel
guests
better
that. I do. And I can't tell any of my guests that, because then I'm just a
Jeez.
dick.
No, you just unloaded it all on me, who wasn't even invited.
No, you
listen,
got it.
my
You deserved
guess
it because you brought up the dog.
Right, but was your party not your part? Did everybody else enjoy your party aside from you?
Yes. It was
Okay.
lovely, and everybody
It was
seemed happy.
lovely,
And
right? Okay.
it was lovely.
Yes. So
And somebody has to start throwing parties, too.
Yeah. Well, I was always the party thrower.
Yeah,
and,
Susan
so
is.
Now I don't do it anymore. I just
Well, the
Why
other
don't you
thing
do it?
about parties is nobody RSVPs, right?
Right. Well, one of the reasons is because I moved away from everybody I know. So.
No, but people don't RSVP. You never know.
Yeah, I
you
had a-
give a party and you don't know how many
And
are
some
coming.
people did and didn't come, too. So
Oh, okay. So that would.
I don't even care about that. I just care that when you come, number one, you have a hostess gift, not because I want a gift, just because it's etiquette, that you come on time or a little late, that you hold your drink appropriately. I even have games for people to play. So
wait a minute, stop,
anyway.
Mike. And remind me never to come to one of your parties because I'd be nervous. So wait a minute. Did you just say hold your drink right?
Say what?
That means if you're drinking a red wine out of a stemmed glass, your palm should not be around the bowl. It should be on the stem.
Are you kidding?
No, that means when I hand you a drink in a glass, you don't say, "Why can't I drink this out of a can?"
Oh my God, that's minimal.
Okay.
So anyway, I changed the subject, right? We didn't talk about Trump for the last 10 minutes.
That's true.
Very good.
Well, but we changed.
hey,
I
got
changed.
guilt, right?
No. You do not get credit for changing the subject. I changed the subject to ugly sweaters. So,
all right.
give credit where
Peace on
credit.
earth, goodwill to everyone.
Yeah, and you know what? Have a goddamn Merry Christmas, okay?
Fuck you.
In the spirit, yeah.
Bye.
All right, but I want to just say there was one thing that I read today that I just thought was spectacular. Did you read the thing about the new prosthetic devices that can communicate directly with your brain so that you can? So if it's a hand with fingers and you're picking up an egg, you can feel the egg.
No, I didn't see this. I know this is becoming, doable.
I mean, just amazing.
Where was that piece? No, I didn't see it.
Well, yeah,
but isn't that something? I mean, that really is. It's getting to be people will have. That's the good part of technology, that it can do that kind of thing. But overall,
and then but on the same, I think it was the Post again. There was an article about DIY diabetes machines because big pharma isn't all that interested or in getting, in really making things work that right. So the people that have these things with children and everything are doctoring the devices so that they work. They work. And there's a whole group of people out there that teach you how to, do these things. And it's just, it's just amazing. On the one hand, the ingenuity of folks and their ability to help themselves. And on the other hand, how big corporations are who we let do all this stuff are not acting in our best interests, period.
Well, that's never been their intent. They act in their interest, Susan, and in their shareholders' interest.
Taking billions of dollars and putting in Europe and declaring bankruptcy.
Okay, Susan, let us all now take a deep cleansing breath.
As I recall, cleansing breaths came along with labor pains.
Okay, so listen, we really are. We're out of time. I want to thank God we ended up laughing at the end. If laughter goes, I'm finished, and I am going for the razor blades.
Me too.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm being asked how long. So we've got 2 more shows that we're doing here, tomorrow and Thursday, and then the next show we do will be in the new year, the first Monday, right, of the new year, and we'll be doing it from a new place, I think. I think that's it. So, yeah.
Good luck.
Well, all right. Okay, Suze, thank you.
Okay, I just hope it's not heaven, Lynn.
What? I don't know what you're...
The new place.
Oh!
Anyway.
No.
Okay.
No, goodbye.
See you outside somewhere at 5:30, right?
You betcha. Okay, will do.
Okay.
Outside, 5:30. Bye, Suze.
Outside.
City County Building tonight, 5:30. Be there, for God's sake. I mean, unless you're just full of hot air. Okay? Be there.
Okay.
Do it. Bye.
Be there.
Okay.
Be square.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.